live. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Power to Live Your Vision. I am your host, or one part of your host. I am Jessie Bowen, and I'm here with my co-host, Coach Nathan Ray.
Hey.
He is the man with the plan.
Let's
hey, sir, how you doing?
Outstanding. Happy, radiant, free, shining bright like three diamonds. Happy to be back with you on the Power to Live Your Vision. How about yourself, sir?
Hey, better and better. Trying to make the world a better place. I'm back driving. I'm walking. I'm walking up steps, and my doctors have turned me loose. I don't have to see them for another 12 months. For my knee replacement. So hey, I'm better and better. I'm gonna be coming out your way doing classes next month. Well, this month.
That's right.
I'll be back out to your school teaching martial arts. So man, hey, I'm on top of the world.
Hey, that's right. You went through it and been doing a great job. Obviously, if the doctor doesn't want to see you in another year, that means you're doing a lot of good things right, I'm sure. So, and I know we discussed a lot of it, and therefore, what's coming?
What's
your
coming?
New book. Your new book.
Oh. Listen, I got so many books coming out, man. I tell you, what's coming? What can and everyone check out the magazine just released today, the Martial Arts Extraordinaire magazine. It is on Amazon. You can Google my name or Google Martial Arts Extraordinaire magazine.
Awesome.
We're celebrating 250 years of our anniversary of America, and we're celebrating over 80 years in the martial arts. So it's a great magazine edition coming out, and we've got the Who's Who in the Martial Arts book that's going to be coming out. We'll be hanging out in Las Vegas. Got a joint in Las Vegas. A lot of really good things coming out. Coach Nathan and I, we got a book coming out, and then I have my book that he's speaking about that I wrote about my journey for knee replacement and all the things I didn't know before I got into it. So I try to be the easy button to tell people this is what you're in for, this is what you need to do, and to plan for it. So yes, that book's going to be coming out September the 4th. That's my birthday weekend. So that's going to be a part of my birthday celebration of actually doing that. We got a great topic we want to jump into today. And, it's living your vision when no one believes in you. Living your vision when no one believes in you. And that's a very, powerful topic because, we go through situations that people, they stop because they feel they need someone's support. And it could be, in a relationship, you need that person's support. You're not getting it. So you quit, you don't move forward on your idea or your goal, or you don't make that adjustment because that person you're in this relationship with. And again, that doesn't mean, and that mean could be business or whatever, your best friend, whatever. But they're giving you negativity. They don't believe that you will do it. I know when I first opened up my martial arts school, and when I read that just then, that flashed back in my mind that, the guys on my job were telling me, man, you're going to quit your job and you're going to go study that karate stuff. You got a good hourly paying job that you're going to leave, but you see,
good job.
And the first thing they told me was, you're going to be back. You'll be back. But as I put my toolbox in my 1978 silver anniversary Corvette, I'm going, I don't think so, dude.
You had the vision. Yeah, you had the vision and the purpose.
But that is the truth. Right. So that is the truth. You have to You have to believe in, you got to believe in what you're doing. You got to believe in yourself. You got to believe that, if you have an idea that you truly believe in it, you got to follow your heart. If nobody else believes in it and you get negativity, that's the reason why you have to be careful about who you share your goals and your visions with, because if not,
Yeah.
they can destroy from the inside.
Yeah. Well, I mean, wow. I mean, I mean, you said a mouthful right there, Hanchi. I mean, anyone who's done something, first of all, the first thing you got to understand is that not everyone has that burn to do that thing because it's not necessarily for them to do. So because it's not for them to do, they don't necessarily have the vision to see it, even when you explain it and you're passionate about it. And I love what you said because we need to protect our dream, protect the baby while it's maturing, while that thought and idea is turning over, and then it'll reach a point where it can, it's just like a fetus, in the early days of the fetus, you have to be careful. You got to be, you got to, and I know even a lot of mothers practice this today, mothers and fathers that don't even share it with anyone for the first 3 or 4 months. Why? I looked at that idea and I said, that's wise because you don't even want anyone speaking the wrong words around your baby. And I think most of us, when we do have a project, or something that we love, a lot of times we use that terminology. Say, this is my baby right here. And so I think it's wise to use that same mentality. Like you said, be careful who and I think this is a principle, period. You gotta be discerning about who you're gonna listen to, who you're gonna take advice from, especially if you're taking advice from people who've never done anything or anything near what you're thinking that you want to do. You got to take it with a grain of salt because they don't have a foundation to even understand or see what you're talking about. Can you imagine, Edison talking about the incandescent light bulb to the fellas down at the corner store?
That
That's
they were
tough.
they're going, I want some of what you're on.
You're gonna do what? You're gonna light up the world? Okay, yeah, what you been smoking? Or you look at Ford. He got mocked, ridiculed, called all manner of evil names when he was coming up. They called it I think something like the Devil Mobile or something like that. They renamed his car. But he had a determined idea, and I think a lot of us are. Everyone has purpose. They just don't know it a lot of times. And I think one exercise that we did in our Thinking in the Mastery course that I taught was just taking a moment, closing our eyes, and really going back. Hey, what did you really love when you were a child? What were you inclined to? Were you out playing in the dirt? Were you, building What were you doing to help kind of ignite that connection? Because a lot of people, they find it very difficult to make that connection.
Well, and you're very correct. I think that earlier we were talking, I think last week, about mentorship. We were dealing with mentorship. You're really helping people cultivate their dreams, of
Yeah.
giving them hope, of being at that person to give them vision. So a dream is something you hope happens. A vision is something you are willing to be dedicated into your life. Visions isn't based on what people see in you. Visions are based on what you see in yourself and the things that that you can be, because God has a purpose for everyone in life. And we were talking about Mr. Wellendorf. Everyone, we had announced that our martial arts instructor has passed away. But you look at the things that he placed in our lives to be able to make us better. He opened a door that we were willing
Yeah.
to walk in. So you want to be around people that are willing to open a door that they're not going to walk through, but open that door for you. In the old days, that was called courtesy. you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
being courteous.
Yeah, pardon me for interrupting, but it's poignant that you said that because I was just watching a video and doing some research on this, and the video and the material was speaking about 30 things that people don't learn anymore in school, and a lot of it was around etiquette, a lot of it was around courtesy because those things actually were the things that opened the door that got you connected with other people, and a lot of it wasn't even spoken. It was how you conducted yourself. Let that person know, hey, this person is thinking differently. I want to potentially give them an opportunity. So I think that this is similar here when we talk about vision. We talk about you know I mean, not to go too much to left or right, but a lot of times you're doing things, you're evolving, you're developing, you don't even realize it yourself. And that's why we talked about having a coach or a mentor. I know Grandmaster Wellendorf changed my whole life by I knew that I wanted to go to Japan, but I had been speaking about it since he known me since 10 or 11 years old. One day I'm going to go to Japan. One day I want to study, practice martial arts in the land of the rising sun. And then when I was about 17 years old, he pounded on the desk. Boom! I known you since you was little, and you still talking, still haven't done anything. He said, "Stop talking and get moving. Go ahead and go." I said,
Hmm.
"Whoa." And I said, "Well, it's not that easy." He said, "Yes, it is. Call the Japanese embassy, find out about exchange programs, do something about it. Stop talking and get going." I said, "Man," but you know what? That next summer, I was in Japan, living my dream. And like you said, having someone who speaks into your life on a higher level, that's the kind of mentorship you want. You want someone who is going to be inspiring, who instead of putting out your candle, but really they throw wood on the fire and keep it burning with you and guiding you in that process. That's why we invite you to reach out on the website, and you can reach out on our website, thepowertoliveyourvision.org, and check us out. And you can reach me or Dr. Bowen there, and you can, and we'll speak with you because, like you said, you got to be really clear about who you're speaking to. You always want, because the thing that we know is there's no limitations. It's all possible. And so we'd love to give you some support and be a voice there for you if you don't have that other voice.
Well, and that's and you're really and that is .com, the power to live your vision.com.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
.com. So many people can see you. I'm sorry. Many people can see your current circumstance. Very few people can see your future. Now that's pretty big, right there. Many people can see your current circumstance.
Right,
This
right.
is where on the job, everybody looks, that was looking at me. We're all working the same place, doing the same thing, and here I'm talking about leaving my job to go out and start my own business. But many people can see your current circumstance, so it doesn't matter where you are right now. The question is where you're going to be, but very few can see your future. Now, I think that's something big for you to hold on to when you get negativity, because when someone is telling you, what you can't do, you won't be able to do, and all giving you all the reasons, because remember, very few people can see your future.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and you can take that same principle and apply it to yourself. There's a lot of times when you don't see it. You have maybe have the vision, you have the burn, but you don't see the evidence of it. In fact, the quote unquote facts might look like the total opposite of it. But that's why you got to you get to lean into your vision, and you get to lean into that unlimited potential that's within us. So that's one of the things I've been working on is, the the outer things look a certain way, but I constantly stay in my visualization and my focus on where I'm heading, not what the circumstances appear like. And now, if you're gonna have a challenge doing that, what do you imagine someone else is gonna have who's around you who's not even trying to get to that other frequency? Yeah. So yeah, goes back to what you just shared about being careful.
Right. And I'm going to read that again because there is another attachment to this here. Many people can see, many people can see your current situation. Very few can see your future. That's why you cannot allow someone else limited potential to determine your unstoppable or unlimited potential.
Yeah.
The greatest visions in history were first misunderstood. And see, and I think I think that's really key there. And then it has a reference here. Noah built an ark before it rained, and everybody think, "No, you crazy." You gotta build this great big boat, and then
In
you're
the
gonna
middle
talk
of the
about
desert.
bringing, yeah, and then you're gonna talk about bringing some animals in here, but you see, the thing with this, he knew something, he had a vision, he had a communication that nobody else had, and see, and they lost, they were lost because they didn't see what the vision. I mean,
Right.
I've been jumping on. Can you imagine? It starts to rain, it's going high, and Noah, and he's floating off in the sunset. Everybody wants to try to catch Noah because he
Too
knew
late.
something, that future thing in his relationship with God that he already knew.
Yeah, very powerful example. Uh, and that's just it. A lot of times we become arrogant in what we think we know, and if we're operating from a very limited scope, that's why I always said travel is one of the greatest educators on the planet. Because when you travel, especially when you can get out of the country, I recommend to all of you, if you have the ability to do it, to travel, because it immediately switches your perspective. And then
Mhm.
you begin to see, oh, wait a minute, and you can see it from a whole different perspective. That's just like fishing. You can stand on the bank and fish and you get one perspective, but when you get out on a little boat and start moving around fishing, actually on the pond in the boat, now you're seeing things from a different way that you couldn't see from the land. So that, and for those people who saw Noah, they had a great regret because they had such a limitation on their own thinking. But unfortunately for them, it was too late. It reminds me of David. I've been watching David, the show David, the House of David, and great cast, great. I love how they put it together, but it touches right on the same point, which is, he was a sheep herder. No one respected him. They thought he was weak and all these different kind of things. But while he was out there, he was the one who was anointed the king,
Right.
and he wasn't seeking something. He was actually he was just walking it out. He was walking it out. It was for him. That was his destiny. And so all of us have a destiny. All of us have a great purpose. And a lot of times it's so much more than we even know. And that's why it's great to get into to do programs, to read. We talk a lot about publications. Elite Publications doing a great job because and then we got the podcast for everyone. These are things that help stimulate you, cause you to grow and evolve, and to be able to tap into your own human potential on a deeper level. So, yeah,
So I think it's really so the message, the takeaway message for everyone is be careful of who you let into your head, because that person closest to you, if we think about martial arts and self-defense, you can only hurt me if you're close enough to me.
yeah,
So, and that's what we have to do in life. That means even our loved ones, Of course,
Yeah.
we love them, but there are certain times, and if we don't think that they are where we are and we believe in what we're doing, it becomes questionable where I need to share that information. Like, that's too much information.
Right.
Now when you
Well,
see me doing it, then you can, you can get on board at that time. But I don't want you to be holding me back or putting me in a position that I'm not able to thrive and move forward.
right, absolutely. And everyone has different dynamics in their families and their friends and the people they're around. But I mean, you just get back to the principle. You are going to be the reflection basically of the five people you're around the most. And no matter, sometimes you got to get a rise above the emotion into your higher intellect and just look. And if what you're seeing is not where you're heading, then you may have to make some adjustments. You might have to create some space. You might have to create some let people miss you a little bit who aren't where you want to be. And you need to be around people that can stretch you out. We sometimes we make comments about the blessing that I've been. Hanchi helped me connect with some of the great grandmasters around the country, around the world actually, and I've been able to spend time with them, and I feel like a kid in the candy shop because I feel like the white belt in the room. I get to learn from people who are stretching me, and my mindset is getting shifted day by day, and I'm growing. And so, just making a change in your environment and who you're around is a big deal. Because if you look, I know Bob Proctor was saying he's he said when he was on his journey of transformation that he had frequented a bar, and one day he said he was sitting there and he looked around. He said, "Man, all these guys in here are bums," and but he was in there with them every day too. He said, "Well, dang, I must be a bum too," and so he said that was the last day he went in there, and he said after 50 years of sharing that story, he said he hadn't been in for 50 years or 55 years, whatever it was, when he made that realization, right? So,
Well, you have to do that. Sometimes you're doing stuff, but do you have to stop, and you're doing it in groups of people, and you have to stop and look around at everyone else, and then you have to question, what are they doing? What am I doing? Is this where I'm supposed to be? Is there something greater I need to be doing in
yeah,
that? So you have to be able to ask that question. So everyone,
yeah,
don't forget
yeah,
that this program is sponsored by Elite Publications. If you're thinking about writing a book, changing your life, then let us know. Like I said, right now I'm by the end of the year I will have published over 75 books, and I can tell you everything that you need to know, everything you should and should not do when it comes down to publishing and marketing your book. So remember, go to our website, which is www.elitepublications.org, and you can check us out for our podcast website, the power to live your vision.com. Check us out. Remember, if you need support, I have, pretty much each week I have someone that calls me, and they're just in a bad place and they just need some prayer time. And I
yeah,
try to make sure I make myself available to be there to support that. So, let us
yeah.
know how we can support you.
Question for you, Hanshi.
Sure.
I'm not going to ask you which came first, the chicken or the egg, but I will ask you this: what
Oh,
what comes first, vision or validation?
of course, it's vision. If you don't have vision, there's nothing to validate.
But there you go. That was it.
Well,
So
and,
much
and
for
that's
my
why I
tough
said,
question.
but we're going to end on this. Everybody has a thought. Everybody has a want. Everyone has a desire, but they don't have enough energy to make it happen. So, your goals is like going to the gym. The bigger, the more weight you lift, the stronger and the bigger your muscles become. So you got to take on some things so you can develop yourself. But if you sit back and you don't try, you'll never succeed. So you have to work on yourself to be able to make sure you succeed and that you go to that next level. So you have to work on that, and that's a
Yeah.
part of you. I'm not able to do it. You have to be able to do it. I can monitor and supervise and help and support, but you have to be able to do that. So yeah,
Yeah.
if somebody's got to take responsibility, and that is
Yeah.
up to that person.
Yeah. Ultimate accountability is what one of my words that I put on the wall. Ultimate accountability. Being responsible. Taking responsibility no matter what, and having that mindset shift so that action happens. I know spending time with you, I always say it. If you want to be around an action person, you got to get around Dr. Hanshi Bowen, because we have a conversation and 2 days later, he's like, look, check this out.
Uh-huh.
It's here.
Yeah,
So we know you don't play around. Elite Publications does not play around.
well, in this season, I don't have time to play around. It's get it done. Keep
Get her
driving
done.
forward. And that's
Yeah.
that's what when you adapt that habit, you'll find that prosperity always finds you. You don't have to look for prosperity. Prosperity always finds you. And
Yes,
everyone,
sir.
we're going to end our podcast on that note. As always, it's great interacting with you.
Yeah.
Remember, reach out, let us know how we can support you, how we can help you become a better person, have a better life. And that is in the eyes of the beholder. You have to still define what that actually is.
Yes, sir.
All right. Any last words, Nate? I'm getting ready to shut her down.
No, let's shut her down on that. That was awesome. I appreciate it. I'm over here taking notes myself. So, everyone, and keep in mind, go back and watch these podcasts over again. Take notes, but more importantly, like Hanshi was just saying, take action.
Take action. Everyone, be blessed.